Hey there, guys. My name is Alex Tuchek, and for my Marketing 451 presentation, I chose to do mine on golf because not only am I a huge fan of the sport, but also they have so much information and data and statistics that are collected after each round or tournament that there's endless amounts of data to analyze. So I thought there was a lot of different routes that I could go, which was ideal for me. So here we go. So there are pretty much two main tours on the PGA. Uh, First of all, PGA stands for Professional Golf Association. But so there's the PGA Tour, which is mainly American and a couple Canadian, and maybe I think one in Mexico as well. But they also have the European Tour, which involves obviously Europe and international as well, such as Asia and Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. So, but mine's mainly going to focus on the American. So, for those of you who don't know, how's a golf tournament played? Tournament consists of 4 rounds, Thursday to Sunday, and each day golfers will play 18 holes each. And basically, the player that wins is the one who has the lowest score at the end of the day on Sunday. So, basically, a regular par for a course is 72. So if you have lower than that, then you'll be sitting pretty, hopefully. But so there's 4 main tournaments. They got they're called the majors, and there's the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open, which is also known as the Open, and the PGA Championship. And I'll be talking a little bit about the Masters later. So this is the first part of my analysis. I did the player evaluation. So I went ahead and collected statistical data on the golfers from 2005 all the way to 2009. There was a top 30 golfers in each year. And I ran tests to determine which factors contribute to win percentage, as well as I wanted to see what the average driving distance was like over the 5 years and how it compared from then into to now. Yeah, so this is just a little snapshot of my data table here. So I got the players on the left, the year, average yards per drive, rank, and so on, scoring average, yards per drive, all that stuff. Yeah, I'll get into a little bit deeper about that over here. And so for my regression, I was a little upset with it just because I didn't get the R square I was looking for. I was hoping I was going to get a much higher R square. As you can see, mine right here is 46.7%. So that means 46.7% of the variation in winning percentage is explained by eagles per round, birdies per round, bogeys per round, and average score. But I thought it was going to be a lot higher than that. And I ran a couple other regressions, just like not multivariable ones, just single variable regressions. And they didn't produce very high R squares as well. So I don't know if that was something with my data or if I had to calculate like weighting data differently for each thing, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so a little upset with the low R square, but I'll take it. And then here I had the box and whisper plot for the average yards per drive from 2005 to 2009. Basically, you can see that the mean of each year is pretty relatively close within each other. There's probably 5 yards distance between each one, and it kind of varies from year to year. Like 2005 had the biggest one, but that was mainly because Tiger Woods was just coming out, and he was one of the first ones to get into the gym before hitting the golf course. So he had some extra power behind his swing, and that definitely showed. You can see on 2005, the max driving distance was, I think, 316 yards, which was a lot hard. It was a lot farther than what those guys were used to seeing. He was hitting it a good 20, 25 yards farther than some of the best players in the world before he came out. So that was a big shock. And then I kind of wanted to see what it looked like from 2009 to 2020. And so 2009, as we just kind of saw there, that max drive was like 308, something like that. And I think it was Tiger Woods as well. But and then in 2020, you can see that the average, the mean, is even higher than the max drive in 2009. So I think a lot of that is just from most of the top players right now started when they were young kids, and they've been developing these techniques and these skills and these swing mechanics since they were young kids. So they have really kind of mastered it and really know how to get an extra little push on it. But also, I think physical fitness is a big one too, because a lot of these guys nowadays are hitting the gym too and kind of trying to get the strength aspect involved as well, just to get that extra couple yards there. And I think it's definitely showing. All right, so this is part 2 of my analysis. Basically, the President's Cup is a golf tournament played over like 4 or 5 days, and it faces the top 12 United States players versus the top 12 international players. And so I wanted to run a little simulation of my own to see what the odds of that, who would win. I wanted to see who was winning. So I did it over 1,000 simulations. And as you can see right here, 693 of the 1,000 times the U.S. won. But I'll kind of walk you through how I did it. So I gathered the average score that each player had got on both teams. And I added them all up and divided by 12 just to kind of get the average per team. So as you can see, the average for the United States was 69.67, and the average for the international was 70.425. And so in order to do a simulation, I needed to get my random variables, because obviously people aren't going to shoot the same score every time. So I did that by using the norm inverse function as well as the rand. And what that does is it generates a random number within a certain standard deviation that you put. And so I chose 1 just because the scores don't really generate, more than that. It's pretty close. It's neck and neck most of the time. So I just did 1. But as you can see, so every time it does that, it generates a new number. So I did that for every player and every team. And then I went on and used a data table to run a simulation and put up against the U.S. and the international. And as you can see, that the U.S. won 693 of the 1,000 times, and the international only won 307 times, which makes sense. I mean, I think in the record books as well, in real life, I think the U.S. has a majority of the wins in that tournament. And so I wanted to go one step further because I thought it was kind of be interesting. Just because the Masters didn't get to happen this year, I kind of wanted to see if I could run a simulation to determine who was going to win this upcoming Masters in September, I believe. But yeah, here you go. So it's kind of the same thing as what I just did. I took the top 30 players of 2020 and their scoring averages, and I used the norm inverse function to create a random variable for their scoring average. And I did that for every player, and I put them in a tournament style kind of match where you do 1 round. You got round 1, which would be Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and round 4 is Sunday, obviously. And I use a data table to create that for the random variables there. And I summed up all their round totals. As you see, Rory McIlroy's is 269.989. And what that basically does is it's just telling you their combined score after like the 4 rounds. So whoever has the lowest one of that is the winner. And so basically I went to I used the rank function to determine who would be first, second, third, all the way to 30th. And just over here you can see the place column. And you got Rory McIlroy first, Webb Simpson second, Justin Thomas third. And I didn't mention too that the players on the left here, they're all listed from like first, second, all the way to 30th. So Rory McIlroy is first in the world right now. Webb Simpson is second. So you kind of see that the simulation is pretty accurate. I mean, obviously, who knows what's going to win golf? So many things can happen and take place, but I mean, it's pretty well distributed among each player. And you got Rory McIlroy first in the world, and he got first place. Who knows what that's going to happen? He's never very good at the Masters, unfortunately. But, then you got Shane Lowry, who was probably about 15th, and he came 15th too. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot more factors that will go into it in a golf tournament, but I just thought this was a nice little step in the right direction towards running a simulation. And this was my project, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. And these are my sources.